What do people with an avoidant attachment style secretly expect when you go no contact? And why does it often catch them off guard? You went silent. No texts, no calls, no explaining. And they acted like it didn't bother them. Like your absence was a relief. Like they were fine all along. But here's the truth, no one tells you. What avoidant partners secretly expect during no contact is rarely what it looks like on the surface. They may appear calm, unbothered, even cold. But inside, there's a storm they won't admit to, even to themselves. Avoidants are masters of emotional suppression. When you step back, their instinct isn't to lean forward. It's to double down on distance. They build walls, they play indifferent. But even as they do, they expect things of you. Silent expectations. Contradictions they'll never voice. Let's walk through them. 1. They expect you to break the silence. This is the first and strongest expectation. It's not about arrogance. It's about the pattern. In avoidant distances, you panic, you reach out, and the cycle repeats. So when you suddenly stop playing that role, it unsettles them. Every day you don't call, don't text, don't check in. It registers, they won't tell you, but they feel it. They notice the shift in the air, even if they pretend not to. The silence becomes louder than any argument, and beneath their calm surface, questions start to rise. Why aren't they chasing me this time? Have they finally stopped needing me? It's subtle, but it shakes the foundation of the pattern they've relied on for so long. 2. They expect you to still hold space for them, even in your silence. Many avoidants assume you haven't fully let go, that when they're ready, you'll still be waiting, still open, still orbiting around them. They crave the comfort of your presence without the pressure of closeness. It's a paradox. I want you nearby, but not too near. In their mind, your love becomes a safety net they don't have to acknowledge. They convince themselves that no matter how much distance they create, you'll keep holding space. It soothes their fear of abandonment without demanding that they face it. But the longer you stay silent, the more fragile that illusion becomes. Each day you don't return, the quiet begins to challenge their belief that you'll always be there. And while they may not admit it, that gap between what they expect and what's actually happening stirs unease they can't quite escape. 3. They expect proof they mattered. Deep down, avoidants carry painful beliefs. If someone gets too close, they'll eventually leave. I'm not truly lovable. So when you withdraw and don't return, part of them panics. They secretly want you to fight for them, to break the silence, to prove they were worth chasing. And when you don't, it confirms their deepest fear that they were never loved at all. 4. They expect answers without asking questions. Avoidants don't want vulnerable conversations, but they want clarity, so they scroll through old texts, revisit your last arguments, check your social media without leaving a trace. They analyze your silence like it's a message in itself. They're searching for answers without ever risking the exposure of asking, because asking would mean admitting they care, and for an avoidant, that feels far more terrifying than uncertainty. So they choose the illusion of control, piecing together fragments and guesses rather than facing the raw truth that silence leaves behind. 5. They expect you to come back changed, not less caring, but less demanding. More calm, more self-sufficient. They imagine you'll return with less emotional weight. That reconnecting with you will feel safer because you'll need them less. It's not that you were too much, it's that intimacy feels overwhelming to them. So they soothe themselves with the idea that your silence is making you easier to love. What they don't realize is that this expectation isn't about you changing. It's about them avoiding the real work of learning how to feel safe in closeness. They imagine you'll come back lighter, calmer, and less demanding, when in truth, the real transformation has to happen within them. 6. They expect to be missed but not needed. This is the tightrope avoidance walk. They want to know they're significant to you, that you think of them, that you still feel their absence. But the second they sense dependence, they retreat. They crave admiration without obligation, love without the weight of responsibility. It's a fragile balance that never really holds, because love can't survive in half measures. It needs both presence and commitment. And while an avoidant may long for the comfort of being chosen, they fear the responsibility that comes with being needed. So they keep you in a paradox, close enough to feel wanted, but distant enough to feel safe. And in doing so, they mistake control for connection, never realizing that true love thrives not in distance, but in the courage to stay. 7. They expect not to be replaced. Avoidants pretend indifference. But the thought of someone else receiving the love they pushed away, that thought cuts deep. Imagination is powerful, and in silence, their mind runs wild. What if they've moved on? What if someone else understands them better than I did? What if I pushed away the one person who truly loved me? Regret surfaces, shame follows. But they'll never say it out loud. 8. They expect silence to punish you. At first, some avoidants view no contact as revenge. Now they'll know how it feels to be ignored. They frame your distance as justice. But as time stretches on, that narrative cracks, and something more vulnerable takes its place. A quiet hope that maybe, just maybe, the door isn't fully closed. Because beneath the layers of pride and defense, most avoidants don't truly want final endings. They want safe distance. They hope your silence is temporary, a pause rather than a goodbye, so they can still believe the connection isn't gone forever. Yet the longer you hold steady in your peace, the harder it becomes for them to cling to that illusion. What began as a story of control slowly turns into a mirror of their own fears. That they pushed too far, waited too long, and may not be able to find their way back. 9. They expect you to just understand. This is the fantasy avoidants secretly cling to. That even without words, you'll know what their silence really means. That you'll see fear instead of rejection. That you'll choose to stay even while they push you away. It's unrealistic, but it's powerful, and it keeps them tethered to you long after they say they're done. The reality check. Here's what matters most. You can't live your life trying to meet an avoidant's silent expectations, because the more you bend to soothe their fears, the more you abandon your own needs. No contact isn't a punishment, it's protection. It's the space where you stop chasing, where you stop proving, where you remember your worth without their validation. And ironically, that peace is what unsettles them most, because for once, you're not trying to climb their walls, you're not begging at their gates, you're simply standing in your own strength, and that is the one thing they never expect. If you're in no contact right now, breathe. You're not weak for wanting connection. You're not broken for struggling with the silence. You're human, and sometimes healing means not rushing to fill the gap, but learning how to feel safe within it. Because the surprising truth about no contact isn't just what the avoidant expects from you, it's what you discover about yourself. That you can survive without chasing. That you can thrive without constant reassurance. That your emotional depth isn't a burden, it's a gift. This is Attachment Simplified, and you deserve love that doesn't hide behind walls.